Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Design Visionaries. My name is Steve Samuel, and I wanted to show you a fun project that I embarked upon a little while ago. As you can see, this is a door that I've designed, and it's the door that goes from the shop to the office area. And what I wanted was lots and lots of sound deadenation because there's compressors and so on and so forth going. So I designed this door, and yeah, it's kind of whimsical. There's some this steel parts on it and these knobs, and the thickness is much thicker than normal. It's like 3 inches thick, and there's sound deadening inside of the door. So I'm going to take you through some of the operations that I used to build it, and hopefully you'll have as much fun watching this as I had actually creating it. Hello there. Now, when I was young, I was always fascinated by the fact that you could take some garbage, junk that you find, and make it into something beautiful. So, in terms of the door that I'm making, I've got these old pieces of 4x4, and this is what I'm making the knobs out of. So, I need a chunk that I could put on the lathe, so I'm looking for a good piece of this to do that. So, I'll get a little piece. So here's a nice piece. I'll cut it down a little bit more right here. I've got this collar. I'm going to balance that off pretty good, and I'm going to get some screws in here like this. Piece of cake. I'm a fan of these Milwaukee screw guns, and I've got screw guns, I've got all kinds of Milwaukee tools here, battery operated tools. I'm going to do that. Okay, and as you can see, this has a lot of sharp corners on it, and that's what we want to get rid of. We could do it on the lathe, but it'll be faster if I cut some of them off. Now, this is what we're trying to create. More knobs for the door. This is that's one that's in process. And I really should be doing this with glasses on. So that should have been the first thing I said. But anyway, so this is going to go on the lathe. Now, when I put it on the lathe, it's going to spin, and I'm going to put a blade on it, and it's going to cut like this. But I should cut some of this stuff off to begin with, and that will make it faster. So, there's one. So that's going to save me a lot of time. And now I'll put it on here like this. Okay. And we need to put the guide over there. We need to make it nice and close as we can without it interfering. That. Okay. And now we have some nice tools that we can use. And one of my favorite tools is this one right here. This one makes quick work of lathe work. Get the welder out of the way. Okay. So now what we're going to be doing is, let's tighten this up, is we're going to be going back and forth, and we're going to go ahead, Steve. Start by it makes lots and lots of sawdust. Now I can start making the knob portion. Yeah. And when I come around here, I want to change my guard. so it's closer to the portions that I'm cutting with. I really should have an apron on, because now I'm full of sawdust. It's forming a ball. Let's move this in a little bit more, like that. A little closer, like that. So now I need to undercut. So we've got the kind of the exterior shape of the ball, and I can clean that up with files and sandpaper. We're making the knob. Okay, and then we'll turn this back here, because now I want to cut it in like this. There we go. So now I have more of a spherical shape on here, and next I'll sand it. So it looks pretty terrible because there's holes through it, but we'll sand that off, and it'll make it, and it'll end up looking like this one here. I'll cut it right here, and then I'll end up painting it so it looks more like this one. So now I'm full of sawdust. Should have had an apron on. I'll mount it onto here. I'll mount it with some sheetrock screws, and then I don't want to have this thing near my hand. There we go. And let's do this. Voila, you got a knob. Okay, it needs some spray. It needs to be better looking. So we happen to have a bit of the okay. Where can we spray it?
Want to show them what it is, or?
So I've got some Rust-Oleum. This is paint and primer. It's for wood, metal. It's a gloss. And so for this particular project, we need a nice glossy finish.
Stand over here. More light there.
And now when I spray this, I'm going to spray many coats, and I want to move as I spray so that it doesn't get all goopy and drippy. All right. Okay, so now we have to mount this, and so we've got to drill a hole right in the center. We've got to embed this screw, and then we've got to drill in the door, and we'll screw it in. So first of all, we've got to find the middle of this thing. Well, it so happens that we've got four holes here from the screws that I use to mount it to the collar. So I'm just going to make a line segment through there, and a line segment through there. And where they cross should be the exact center. We did that. Then I've got this jig that I can use to drill a perfectly perpendicular hole. And so I'm going to put that on my machine here. Make it nice and tight. now this will drill a perfectly straight hole. And I'm going to hold it like this and go straight in. And I've oriented the drill bit so it goes the right depth as well. Then this has to go in there, but I've got to cut it here and sharpen this so it can go into the door. So the way to do that is going over here. We need to give it a cut like this. Okay. So now that has to be put in here. I can't hold it by hand, so we'll bring it over here where we have a nice way of holding it. Like so. Don't want to make it too tight, otherwise it'll mess up the threads. This one goes right here, right up here, right about there. So I'm going to just push it on a little bit, makes a nice little mark, and we'll drill right in there. Okay. And now we get to that's on there for good. All right, it needs one more knob down there, and then it's done. We have one in production, and we're almost there. And now the finished product has all the knobs and everything. As you can see, we've got all the knobs that were in the original design, and there's the beautiful finished product. What a sense of accomplishment and joy you get from doing projects like this.